showings at these tournaments, and they've been one of the most consistent teams. So we got to bring our A game and win our searches and steal a hard point or one of the uplinks off of them.
I think EG is such a good team because of just the amount of slaying power they have on the team. You'd think that's kind of weird just because looking at their players, you're they don't have a lot of slaying power. But in this game, they actually do.
FaZe is a good team because they've been teaming for about 2 years, and that consistency and just knowing what everybody's going to be doing. So obviously we haven't been teaming as long as them, so they kind of have an edge in that regard. So
in all honesty, I think that team wouldn't work if it wasn't for Nameless. Nameless is kind of the glue that holds them together.
If we're going to take out FaZe, like I said, we're going to have to win both of our search and destroys, and then steal a hard point or an uplink. Respawn's been looking a lot better for us. We've been playing a lot more, so going into that match, we're just going to make sure our S&D strategies are on point.
We have the maps. I've looked over them, and I think that's why we're going to beat them. We got some of our better maps. So I'm picking a 3-0, 3-1. It could definitely go the distance. I mean, you never really know how some of these maps are going to go, but I'm fully confident we're going to beat them 3-0, 3-1.
Well, here is a look at our map set for the first series here on day 3. Of course, breakout hardpoint, throwback search and destroy, throwback uplink, retail hardpoint, and a breakout S&D if it goes the distance. Ake's prediction.
You got to think breakout favors FaZe a lot, but the two S&Ds, those are in EG's favor. Breakout, new, and throwback, both their best maps.
Well, we could have a fantastic series on our hands to start things off. We can send it down to our wonderful casters. It's Maven and TP.
Thank you, gentlemen. Excellent stuff as always. So, Teep, this is going to be fun. Now, last time they faced off, it was the 3-0 for EG, but how much of EG's run yesterday was because they got that Game 1 scorch? I mean, at hardpoints where they have struggled in the past.
I think it was carrying them a long way in terms of momentum. Are we going to see it here? They have to come out with all guns blazing on this first breakout, but FaZe has just been so darn consistent on this map this entire year. We talked about how FaZe was electric day 1, and completely the opposite day 2, whereas EG was the opposite. So I guess if you have to pick on the moment right now, you give momentum to EG. But when you see just such differing, results from both these guys from day to day, it's really tough to call.
All right, well, let's get into it. Map 1 of day 3, starting off with Attach. He had, 2 1v3s, a 1v2, some incredible performances in the final match versus Fnatic last night, but it was not enough to steal the victory. They're going to need Attach in a big way here in the respawns. What do you love about him as a player?
Oh, he's so well-rounded, and the fact that he's able to contribute so much on the side of respawn and search and destroy, single-handedly keeping his team in the game last night. But going into this first hard point overall, EG just getting a lot of control over towards that loading side. If you have loading control, it just sort of forces FaZe into this middle sort of spot. It's just a tough spot for them overall. That's why EG's getting so much time right here.
Well, let's see if FaZe is able to battle back, because not only do they need to fight for the hard point, but they need to try to attempt to flip the spawns here, because you see that number 6 popping up. That's going to be Nameless in that back hanger. As we rotate out shortly, they're going to be in a prime position for cell block. But this first hard point, usually pretty back and forth, not usually a ton of time coming through. It's the second hard point that's going to be big here, team.
Definitely. Looks like EG focusing pretty heavily on this rotation. FaZe is going to try and get as much of this scrap as they can. Looks like they will get the last 5 seconds or so here. One thing you have to keep note throughout this entire day, map count going to be very important for every single team. When you have a quad tie, every single map you have to play to your the highest potential, especially because EG was able to 3-0 FaZe yesterday.
Well, let's see if EG can hold on. This is the strat they talked about. They get smokes out. Clayster sits in the back and I believe uses the thermal to try and look through. And so far it works. The smoke kind of backs them up. Zuma able to find the entry, but they're still holding on due to Havoc. High flying, making plays. He saw a couple players outside doing a good job trying to get the positive angle. Tags up one in the corner, looking vertical, finds the kill. Zuma and crew still trying to break, but solid stuff from EG thus far.
It's a decent strategy from FaZe, though. It is quite tough to break those back spawns, so if you're able to get those smokes in, block those line of sights, and basically just play to contest. You see, EG, they have a decent lead here, but if they don't have those smokes, if they have to take the time to go all the way around, it could be up to 70 points by now.
Well, talk to me about your kind of preferred setup here for our third hard point as we get set up in Graveyard. Graveyard, you see everybody dropping for EG, so FaZe is going to get the hold. Now that they're set up, what are they trying to do?
Basically just get out as far as possible. Basically what Clay is doing right here, you need to get both sides pushed out, but a bit of a mistake, put himself a little bit too far away from his teammates. Nameless is able to take advantage of that and starting off well for him here. So now the flood will be coming in from Cave. Luckily, FaZe able to get those first 2 intro kills there. Could have got a little bit shaky, so Clay was making the play, but just wasn't ready for that guy to, that quickly, I guess.
Well, thankfully, Attach and Enable pick up the slack inside the hard point, and FaZe roaring back in this one. May see a lead change shortly. We're watching Attach as he's making plays mid-map, trying to basically make sure that a pinch isn't going to be an opportunity for Evil Geniuses. But as he fall, you see the collapse coming through. Nameless collapsing from one side, but everybody else on the kill feed is going to be for FaZe.
Yeah, just beautiful stuff from Attach. Just being so annoying towards middle. EG had to waste so much time trying to take him out, and now it looks like FaZe has not only the time, the scrap time, but the rotation as well. They should be set up quite well for Commissary. Glaciers should be able to win that gunfight. There it is. Stop shooting for just a second. And now EG's in such a pretty tough spot.
Yep.
Looks like Attach is working on some streaks as well, so if he's able to get a couple of kills in the hill and you know, work up to those Trinity rockets, things like that over towards middle, this thing could snowball out of control.
Well, I mean, outside of Enable, basically everybody going off right now for FaZe Clan Teep, and we know how important streaks are in Hardpoint. I think more important in this game than a lot of titles, just because, you know, you have less kills. Kills matter a lot more due to the spawns in this game. If you can get streaks early, they can be so deadly. Taking a look at it, Attach has 2 kills in a row. Zuma actually at 4. Can we hop over to Zuma's POV just to see how far he is? He's actually 125 away from it and gets picked off the cover there.
Yeah, I really would like to see him play a little bit safer now. Attach stuck in the 1 versus 3 in the hill, not able to win it. But again, FaZe gets so much of that intro time. EG's just playing for these scraps, and that's what's leading to these scoreboards here. Zuma starting off extremely hot, and that's what you really expect. We haven't really seen the Attach-Zuma duo of old, right? But they're showing it here, such high momentum, and they're just so darn good at breakout.
Well, really, since since Cell Block, when Evil Geniuses got set up first, it's been all FaZe Clan, right? They were the Graveyard first. They were set up in Commissary as well. And now we're going to go through our next set of rotations. It's Enable up top, and I think he's one of the best in the business at getting time in the hardpoint and finding kills in the hardpoint. 4 down now for EG, everybody dropping.
Just crazy stuff. The big 3, Clayster, Attach, and Zuma for FaZe early in this one. A couple of things that are sticking out to me, though. Havoc and Study, look at how low gunfights they have. They're playing slow. That shouldn't be Nameless's job to be in all these gunfights. He is in some of the better positions some of the time, but you need those 2 to just be flying at people.
Well, they made some changes yesterday. You know, Nameless starts to run Centurion because Study's a little bit too slow. They wanted Nameless to be in on the action. You can put a lot more pressure when you have that trophy system to take the grenades, but for Havoc, I mean, Havoc is supposed to be in your face. That's what he's known for, right? But right now he's actually on a 4 streak. Can we swap over to Havoc, see how close he is to building on streaks? Never mind, because we see him get cut down from Attach's POV.
Looks like a big gunfight could be going down. Nameless actually loses that on rotation, so again, FaZe just it looks like an easy game for them, to be honest. Contesting when they don't have control, using those you know, sort of odd strategies to make sure EG cannot get a bunch of easy time. And now EG's going to be forced to go on this wall run. A couple of easy kills should be coming in from Zuma, but no, Nagafin wins a huge gunfight there. So a little bit of contest fest going on. Attach needs to hold strong here. 15-5 on a 3 streak, and could get close to the Scarab here. Some shots going into that player. Just great stuff. Study falls off the map as well. 5-12 start. It seems like Study's just not having a good one.
Yeah, let's hope this is just game 1 nerves or needing to get warmed up a bit. But on the other side, Attach, 16-5 on a 4 streak. Gonna have a 1-on-1 here inside. That's Study. Study could go huge if he can find a couple of kills as his teammates look to back him up. They're coming from what looks like mid-map and Commissary to set up with him. Study in a key position. This rock here, I mean, you saw what JCap last week at that big 3-piece to close out a game versus Splice. You can go off from this spot. Let's see if he can hold it.
He's going to have to in this one, but able to drop that Trinity rocket, the Scarab coming in, so FaZe using these streaks at the best time ever, get a 3 clean wipe. EG spawning out so far back in cave now, and I just really don't think there's a chance for them in this one. The one thing you have to note, though, it doesn't seem like any player on EG really wants to use that ND4. That's fine. Don't use it. It doesn't seem like anyone that's using it on this team is doing particularly well. Just put the thing away at that point.
Oh, dude, FaZe is just destroying them now. We talked about the streaks early on, right? It's the Trinity rocket. It's the Scarab. They get the break there. You pick Study off that huge spot, and now they're looking to shut it down. 25 more points needed. They can't win on this particular hard point, but they're doing a hell of a job trying to close it out quickly. It's now Enable on a 4 streak. Make it 5. 200 off the Trinity rocket. There's one more player to push him here. Will he be able to find the kill? I think Clayster actually gets it over the top. So as we look to rotate out, it's going to be EG in a prime position. They find the 2 kills on rotation. This is a map I know we see a lot of crazy comebacks, but surely, Teep, is this too much for EG?
It's got to be too much. But one thing as well. Got to give some props to Enable. A really rough start for him. I don't know how FaZe is able to get up that wall run and pick up those 2 kills too easily. This is looking like day 1 EG. Not good at all. They're not holding these setups, and now Zuma's trying to end this game. Trade's going down, so they do hold on for just a little bit. There is a good chunk of time here, so the dream's still alive a little bit.
Yeah.
But Enable being to bounce back. I think he had like 3 or 4 kills and then went on back-to-back 4 and 5 streaks respectively. Got some streaks, and that's why FaZe is up so many points.
Well, yeah, that Trinity Rocket proved crucial as they broke Cemetery. I mean, if you get a flawless hold from EG, maybe you're right back in the game. But they've got to play perfect hard point now. Only 4 points needed for FaZe. Havoc trying to stay alive, catching a nade, dipping out, but this might be it here if the break can come through. Just need a couple of ticks. FaZe is in, and FaZe will take game 1 in a very commanding fashion. This looks a lot more like day 1 EG and day 1 FaZe, right?
And that's the big thing we talked about, though. Like, they got scorched so many times yesterday, EG, both those first points in hardpoint. And that's just huge for them. It's so much momentum. It's a close-paced map. You're getting in a lot of gunfights in terms of warming up and things like that. So, you know, you see sort of the weaknesses shining through from EG. They're not as well-rounded in a lot of these hard points. And how easy was that for FaZe? Probably too easy.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you at least don't get 100-point clubbed if you're EG, but nothing else going right. Was there anything that stood out for you that was a problem for Evil Geniuses? Or is it just maybe game 1 nerves, FaZe back on form?
Basically, FaZe, when they didn't have control, EG was doing a fine on a lot of those intro rotations to those money hills, as we usually call them. The biggest thing is they allowed FaZe to get in so easily, and always the first person from EG in the setup would just be in kind of a bad position, get taken out, and that's what allowed FaZe to contest all of that time. So while EG had a good setup, they weren't really getting any time on the scoreboard. They're letting FaZe to just, especially Cellblock, just dance around.
Yeah.
Just weren't getting points.
All right, well, now we're going to be going to Search and Destroy. You know, we talked a lot about how, you know, this EG team was built for Search, but they didn't really pull it together until Dallas when they ripped off 85% of their S&D games. What can they do here to match up against an electric FaZe squad where Attach has got a hard carry in Search and Destroy? What can EG do to steal this game too?
I think they just need to play to their overall strengths. Like, you have Nagafin use that sniper. We were giving him a little bit of crap yesterday for it, but overall, wow, just look at that. Grave, just nothing EG could do. Granted, the second one, they had the Trinity Rocket and Scarabs and things like that to worry about, but EG, it's really cell block. Yeah, the score is even there, but when EG had those initial rotations, they weren't able to do anything from it, and all FaZe had to do was contest a little bit. They should have got more points there.
Absolutely, and maybe the smokes from FaZe kind of providing that. You know, you throw the smoke on the outside, kind of little rafter there, whatever you want to call it, and they can lay in the smoke. Zuma was just prone in there for a bit, just making sure to contest, not worry about finding kills. Some excellent strategies coming out of FaZe Clan, but it's now all going to be about the game 2 Search and Destroy. And interesting enough, you know, you saw Attach say, whenever I'm going clutch, whenever I'm making those big plays, the team seems to lose the game. You know, they lose the game against the 1v4. They lose the one yesterday where he pulls off a couple 1v3s and a 1v2. They need more of a team effort, and I think it was Enable that struggled big time in Fnatic in that game 5 last night.
And that's been sort of an issue for FaZe. I don't think in this game particularly, but back Black Ops 3, there were several times a big Search and Destroy where they needed someone like Enable to step up. He just has those 2-8, 2-9, 2-10 games. You can't have it here. We finally saw that yesterday. It's the most important thing you have to note, though. Enable's probably been their most consistent player in Infinite Warfare, so you can't give him too much flack.
Yeah.
Probably just a bad map, wasn't feeling comfortable, but going against EG's very, very good at a lot of these Search and Destroy maps.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I tend to agree with you. Nagafin going to make an impact with that sniper. I can't remember, was the breakout S&D, was that game 2 or 5?
I believe it was game 2.
All right, so this will be, you know, you heard, I think Pat said on the desk that, you know, usually if you have a new map that teams haven't scrimmed a lot, you have to give maybe a little. Okay, so it is going to be game 5. All right, so we're going to go to throwback. So Nagafin sniper is certainly going to be in play here, but if we do go to a game 5, it'll be interesting because, you know, you have the experience of FaZe Clan. They played together for several years now, but you know, if it's a more like raw S&D talent, I think outside of Attach, I'd probably side with the EG crew.
Oh, definitely, especially from what we saw in that last map on throwback when FaZe was playing Fnatic. Attach was the only reason they were winning those rounds in those crazy 1v3 situations. Fnatic played those late round situations extremely poor. So going into it, FaZe needs to completely change their strategy, in my opinion. Maybe start going over to that baseball side of the map, controlling that a bit more, because whatever they were doing at Bridge, just, it wasn't great.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Attach, that could have been a 6-0 quickly if things didn't go his way in some of those clutch moments. They're gonna need a big performance from him, but the rest of the squad has got to step it up. Who's your guy to watch outside of Nagafen for EG if they're gonna take this?
I need to see more from Study, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen those, moments of greatness from each of the players on the team. Where's Study been? Quiet, not the same electric player we're used to seeing, and he's always been sort of inconsistent in his whole career, to be honest, but he usually gets some of those moments where he can hard carry a game. We haven't seen that in quite a while now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to a couple events last year where, God, he could have been my MVP. He's an emotional player. He's a streaky player. If they can get him hot, Pat said yesterday that a lot of it is on Nameless in the sense that he is kind of the chain reaction. He's the energy guy. If he gets hyped, the rest of the team gets hyped as well. But here we go. You see, it's going to be Nagafen with a sniper to kick things off. Let's see what angle he goes for. Typically, it's up over the top of this mid-roof. And will he be able to find one? There it is! Onto Attach. He's already out. Tries to snap onto a second. Now back down. There's the second! Zuma's head is gone. Clayster is the last alive. Is this why you wanted to highlight Nagafen?
Oh, definitely. I'm not a huge fan of the sniping in general in this game, but when you're hitting shots like that, you can't doubt the guy at all. Clay now stuck in the 1 versus 3. He's able to get 1 kill against Nameless, which is pretty huge, but really, he's got a lot of time to work with. Could get this bomb down somewhere, but looks like the flood's coming in.
Let's see if, it doesn't look like he's going to be given a freebie. Couldn't get it around the edge. Doesn't get challenged from a second, but everybody there, like a swarm, Clayster is gone. And it's the high flying from Nagafen that kicks things off. A couple of just dirty snipes there from him.
And if you're FaZe there, you can't feel down on that round. He's just hit some 2 crazy shots. You can't back down from middle, and that's what a lot of teams do. They get sniped 1 or 2 times. That player that plays that underpass, rushes middle quickly, they start to not go there. You just have to keep doing it. You have to basically bet that Nagafen can't hit shots like that every darn round.
Let me check Nagafen again. Yes, I want to see which one he goes for. It's going to be over the top to check Lemon. Nobody there. It looks like you're going to have a big hit. Now, did Study see them all hit? Because 3 fly through. It looks like the call-out did come in. It turns into a 3v2 quickly. Clayster and Attach now looking to make a play. Clayster able to turn into a 2v2. Attach finds one as well. It's now Nameless by his lonesome. Nameless is gone. And that's a round and a defuse for FaZe.
Attach's positioning is just so darn good in Search and Destroy. He's never puts himself in a risky sort of situation, and that's something teams struggle with a bit. When they're just going to do that normal strat where they just plant the bomb over or under bridge, you should be able to get that trade extremely fast. FaZe doing a good job of doing that there.
All right, well, we're tied up at 1-1. Some sick plays from Nagafen on the EG side, followed up by electric plays from Attach. Shot of the EG squad there as they're dialed in here for round 3. It'll be offense for Attach. You said they have to keep hitting. It's Nagafen up top, and you see that snipe go through, but this is exactly what you were saying. You can't back down. You have to be aggressive because you're still able to find kills like that.
You didn't hit the shot again, so you're good to go. Attach gets that first blood over towards middle. Clay picks up a second, so a good round from FaZe, not backing down at all, exactly what you need to do. 2 versus 3 situation now. Nagafen's stuck with a sniper, and this is these late round situations. Yes, he's had some cool clutches, but it's mostly with the pistol, not really the sniper.
It is. Well, they're going to know there's one at Lemon now. Able to back him down. 2v3 scenario. Make it a 1v3 as Nameless has to do everything. He's already found 2 kills. This would be for a 1v3 ace. A player pushed through back Grandma, so he's stuck here in the middle. Can he get a nice timing on the backside? He does. Perfect. Turns it into a 1v1. 1v3 ace possible here for Nameless. One more player to find. Has to find Enable on the map. Also has to work the defuse. And look at Enable.
Beautiful.
Going a long way around. Does he opt to stick this? I don't think he's going to have time regardless.
Expect Enable just to do a quick peek. Check if he's on the bomb. Some shots going down. Nameless trying to do his best, but Enable just played that absolutely perfect. And that's why we saw all those clutches yesterday from all these different teams. Enable, in those 1 versus 2 situations, the players would just try and make some sort of crazy play. Enable realizes that, oh, I can back down. I have plenty of time to wrap over towards Lemon and check that bomb. A huge play from him and an easy round.
Well, he just knew from Nameless's position where he picked up that second kill, there's no way he's going to get the bomb quickly enough, right? He had the time to wrap it around, finds the kill. Great stuff from him. Can Nagafen be a difference maker again in these rounds? Going for the same snipe over by Lemon. Nobody going to be peeking. You can see there's a lot of pressure on the top side of the map towards the A site right now for Clay and crew.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting setup from FaZe on this one. setting up for a definite retake, and I just completely disagree with it. If you don't see anything towards that site, you should probably rotate a bit earlier. But regardless, it's trying to go on this flank. Looks like a 2-2 split from FaZe. Can they find this first kill?
Well, Clayster trying to push through the back. It's Study getting involved. He's 2-2 right now. Havoc also on the board. It's going to be a 2v4 battle with needing to find the defuse. Zuma doing everything he can, at least picking up a kill here, but time just dwindling on the clock. They've turned it into a 2v2. Can they get it done? 15 seconds left. This is a round EG should not lose, but they've got to make a play now. One, laying behind bus, playing it slow, not enough time to work with, nobody on it. And that's what happens when you get a quick plant like that. They stack 3 at A, no one gets there in time to get a quick plant, you still have enough time.
It annoys me. Why are you 3-stacking A like that for that much time? The initial stack completely fine. You're trying to see if you can counter around very quickly, but you don't see anything. Obviously, they're going to the other site. You just have to make a move a bit quickly, and then they waste too much time in the 2 versus 2 situation. You got to set yourself up for somewhat of a chance, even though it's a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, you have another 10 to 15 seconds there, and maybe you clutch a 2v4, which I don't know that EG should have been in that scenario anyway, but FaZe almost able to clutch up. Just not enough time on the clock. It's tied up at 2-2. It's been a back and forth affair. You can see the progress towards Camo for Enable, which could be a big player in this one. He'll be running the bomb. Typically, you'll see the Camo player on most teams, outside of maybe Cloud9, where the bomb carrier will have Camo build towards it a bit quicker.
Enable pushing up a little bit far with the bomb here. Doesn't decide to get this down, so going to see if this player in the back, which is Study, going to see if he can find any of these players towards back Rambo, but no, Zuma has that E-Rad, gets the better of Study to get that first blood. Number advantage to FaZe.
FaZe in control of another round. Taking a look at Clay there on mid-bridge. He's right above Havoc. Finally, he finds him. I was about to say, I think they're stacked here. He does get the kill. 2 players left. And this is where it's tough to have a sniper, but not tough if you're Naga. You know how strong he is with a pistol as well, but there's 35 seconds left. Bomb has not been planted yet. If Nameless can find a kill right below him, he hasn't seen him yet. There it is. He's turned it into a 2 versus 2. Guns another. Nameless with 2 big ones. Now it's all Zuma for the clutch. The pistol as well. That's a 2v4 for EG. Wow, how are teams getting these spots? What did FaZe do wrong there?
I guess just stacking 2 players so far under that bomb site, you just don't have very good line of sights, but I feel like it's just more Nameless being at the right spot at the right time. He catches that first player at Sidewalk. You didn't see him for a second. It was a little bit scary, but once that player plants the bomb, right when his teammate gets taken out, he just doesn't really have a chance. As the bomb guy, you're like, do I go left or right? He made the wrong choice, unfortunately, and they get clutched up.
You tell me there's a 2v4 and one of the players on the 2 has a sniper, I'm going to say you're never going to win that. Yeah. But somehow they pull it out. Nagafin zips a bullet past the head of a FaZe player. Now, Zuma trying to be very aggressive. Prides himself in his fast play and ability to find these first bloods. The timing window is there. There it is. Now he's got to get away with his life. Can he exit? There's another tagged up. He gets that as well. Zuma will drop. It's quickly a 2v2 team. And let's see how this plays out. Both FaZe players pushing mid-map, able to win the gunfight.
Good stuff. Just so much aggression from Zuma. That's exactly how FaZe need him to play Search and Destroy. If he's able to get up Sidewalk, but that's one thing on Throwback. Teams are just so bad at watching Sidewalk on their offenses. I really don't understand. More teams should really abuse it because the sort of setup, they have the NV4 looking over towards middle and over towards the left side towards Lemon. You don't really give yourself. There's that fence on Sidewalk covering it. It's just a free lane a lot of the time.
If you're playing back bus, you should be able to see it, right? I know there's timing where it ends up being, hey, I'm worried about the flank. So much time's gone by in the round, but it was still pretty early. You think, was that maybe a little bit of a blunder in movement there for Nagaton? Otherwise, he may have had a shot, but Nameless gets the job done and gets that first blood.
Yeah, Attached gets caught with his pants down a little bit with a grenade in his hand. Just a free death at Underpass. That shouldn't be happening, and they decide to go for this plant right away. It should be a clean wipe for EG. Not sure why that sort of strategy went down and just a clean wipe. I just don't agree with that at all. Attached gets taken out. They decide to keep going with the plant, and why?
Well, Havoc showing him the teabag there, Teep, and this has been, it's like no one can win a back-to-back round. Just back and forth between FaZe and EG. If you are just joining us, all teams coming into today with a 2-2 match record. So different from what we saw in week 1. Every match matters, every map matters when it's this tight. EG now with an edge. What is FaZe trying to do here, team?
Looks like a little bit more aggression up towards middle again. Clay in his normal spot with this NV4, trying to gain any sort of information. Just looks like a pretty pretty straight up round, to be honest. Both teams just going to be in their normal spots. The bomb does go down, a retake, and is FaZe going to make the same mistake again, taking a bit too long in this retake. Havoc picks up first blood again. It looks like it's just a repeat round.
Well, Zuma found the kills mid-map in the previous defense, not able to do it here. A lot of pressure on Attach. Can he clutch up? Not able to do so. It's now on Clay. Instead of Attach being in these clutch scenarios, I feel like it's been Clay now left alone. That's 3 or 4 times I feel like he's been the lone man standing. Not good spots, though. They've all been versus 3 or 4 players.
Props to EG. They are very strong on this map, but something FaZe has always been really good at is their ability to adapt into these in-game situations. There's no adaptation happening here. They're just letting EG walk wherever they want, towards the bomb site specifically. They're not contesting that A site at all. Like, go fight them at least. These rounds are just so clear-cut for EG. It's just a huge mistake from FaZe, in my opinion.
All right, well, let's see what FaZe can do on the offensive side of things. Nagafin again over the top. How annoying is it to play against somebody like that? Flying through the sky, you don't even get to get involved in the round.
Quite annoying, but they do answer back. Zuma with this ERAD has been deadly towards middle, 7 and 8 on the kill-death ratio for him, and looks like a plant going down. The camo should be earned after that one, and FaZe should be able to win this with these payloads, but Nameless has the camo as well, decides to pop it.
So Nameless hits the camo, trying to make the play. Nagafin hits yet another snipe, but Enable, he uses his camo well. He's in behind. It's going to be Nameless versus Enable. Both camos have been popped. So nothing to work here. And look how close he is to streaks as well. Yeah. Nameless 50 off this Trinity rocket. And it's going to get checked. I don't think he'll get there in time, though. This isn't going to kill him. He's not going to get there in time. He's not going to get there in time. And Nameless gets the defuse. EG with the victory, and they're right back in this, buddy.
Good play from Nameless, but it's so easy. As soon as you hear the Scarab, you know it can't kill you on the bomb site, so he obviously called it from far away and Enable in that 1v1. It's a blunder. It's a bad play. You can't rely on a Scarab in that sort of situation when it's not going to definitely pick up a kill.
Yeah, I can imagine the EG guys were all yelling, stick it, as soon as he hears that Scarab. Heads up plays coming in from EG, and what was really back and forth really till our 6th round. EG took over those final 3. It seemed like you were more, I guess not as impressed with EG as you were kind of knocking FaZe for the way they were playing. What was FaZe doing wrong? So for S&D players at home, what was really bugging you there?
EG has a very consistent setup on that map, and it's obviously working. Why would they change, right? They're winning a bunch of S&Ds. FaZe, stop focusing so much on middle. Allow Zuma. He was doing just fine there on his own. I think they should have literally just stacked a bunch of people over towards that site, A site down low, and just try and pick up that bomb planter right away. If you're able to pick up that first player on the site, they don't get the plant down right away, and you don't have to focus on those long retakes. It's so hard to do on throwback. You have to contest the site. You have to.
Well, you heard Nameless say in the video before this, they have to win both S&Ds and steal the respawn. Will it be the uplink? We'll find out after this quick break. let's take a look at our G Fuel key player matchup. These are two guys that had polar opposite performances day 1 and day 2. Talk to me about them, Teep.
It's such a great matchup overall, both the sort of main AR players on both of these teams. But going into this map number 3, take note of those uplink KDs on the bottom. 1.2 for Nameless, 0.84 for Clay. Who's going to be the difference maker? Who's going to have that day 3 polarizing performance? Guess we're going to find out.
They've been up and down, but they are 2 studs for their roster. That is it for your G Fuel key player matchup.
What happens when you witness a shipwreck?
I have no idea. What is it?
You let it sink in.
Did you hear the horse and the pig are dating?
Nah, I didn't hear that.
They're in a stable relationship.
What's the difference between a snowman and a snow woman?
That one's a man and one's a woman?
Nah, snowballs.
Oh my God. What's large, gray, and doesn't matter?
Cold.
An irrelevant.
What is that? What is that? An irrelevant.
I have no idea.
What did the wall say to the ceiling? I'll meet you at the corner.
How does a train eat? It goes choo-choo.
Great stuff there from the duo of Study and Nameless, and these are guys that have seen a lot of success together in their career. I mean, you think back to, what, 2014 when they get 2nd place at Champs. That was maybe, God, the best weekend of Nameless's career from a player standpoint. I remember how electric he was, but these guys have they've played together on and off for a long time.
Oh, definitely 2 of the best players we've had in the Call of Duty competitive scene for years and years now. Nameless has been playing since, well, forever.
Yeah,
since
really?
COD came out, really.
Yeah. He's one of the old school guys for sure. But they're going to need that. You know, we talked about Clayster and Nameless and how Clay goes off day 1, Nameless struggles day 1. Nameless goes off day 2, Clay kind of struggles day 2. They've both been a little bit up and down. This uplink's going to be the key. Nameless has been he's been great in respawns. At least looking back to yesterday. Nameless needs to have a big performance here if they're going to beat FaZe, though. This is not going to be an easy test at all.
Definitely. I think the uplink is going to be the decider of the entire series, to be honest. And with all these ties, it's just crazy situations that can go down. If it comes down to a head-to-head, let's say all teams finish 3-3, for example, EG will win the face-to-face head-to-head versus FaZe due to the map count because they 3'd them the first time.
And they took winning that game, too, was the big thing, right?
Yeah, that's huge there. However, on the overall scheme of map count, EG's isn't that good in comparison to the team. So
yeah, they were 6-8, I think, coming in. Right above them was 8-8, so they're behind in 2 maps, basically, which they need to pick up. But, I mean, the key thing here, I know it may come down to map count. It likely will, but it's just winning series. If you win both your series of the day, you're in. You're playing for $500,000 in just a couple of weeks. But it's going to be throwback again. It's going to be uplink. Who do you think's taking this?
I have to give it to FaZe. They just look overall more dominant in respawn on all of the different game types in comparison to EG. In terms of throwback, though, EG could be fine here. I just think they need to get the waves of kills and really get those spawn traps set up. From what I saw from Fnatic and EG yesterday, though, or some of the previous uplinks we've seen this weekend, is just really simple mistakes, not taking the drone the right way at the right time off of kills, basically not emphasizing certain map control at a time.
All right, well, it's map 3 between FaZe and EG. Who's going to take the edge? Nameless pushing top mid, finds one before Enable's able to pick him off. The kills will be traded back and forth. Nagafin was the last man up top mid-map, and now Clay's going to be pushing to this strong position. So you get up by bus, you can kind of cut off this side of the map from EG. There's an entry kill. 2 more pushing him in front, maybe play his life till he gets a bit of help, or catch a nade to the teeth.
Good nade from Nagafin, clearing Clay out of that bus area. Zuma trying to get on this flank a bit. We're used to seeing that sort of strategy from him. Doesn't get to pick up this kill at window. It's a huge one. No, Havoc able to get that one. That's a huge gunfight in terms of map control. Looks like EG does have control of the drone. They are working towards Lemon pretty quick here.
They're trying to make a play, but Attach is holding strong in window. Does he go for the melee? Tries to. But Nagafin able to pick up the kill. Nobody really able to get the drone outside of mid-map, just trying to fight for a little bit of control. That's 2 kills in the way of FaZe, but it's just back and forth. As soon as 2 kills go down, they try to push in. Somebody's there on defense. That's 3 in a row for Havoc. There's 1 more player top mid, but now you gotta go. Nagafin gets it. The drone is forward. Havoc trying to get in a strong position here. Saw 1 push into window. There's 1 there in Grandma's. Clay gets tagged up and has to back down.
Just such a good push from Havoc. 3 kills, and now being the lead blocker, picks up 2 on the point. Does he get the 3rd? Oh, it's so darn close, but he does get that player weak. A 4 dead. They do get the 1 in. They have drone control. They have control of the base, but can they get another point? It's going to be a bit tough here.
It's hero plays like that from Havoc that can be the difference down the stretch. Now, you're still pressured if you're FaZe. Attach at least finds a kill. Their Clayster comes through as well, and Zoom on the board as well. So you've cleared out your base. You're now trying to set up again. There's only really 1 player left from EG, and he will now fall. So it's FaZe's turn for the attack as they work their way up the map, but quickly the kills going right back in favor of EG.
Study absolutely dominating with that NV4 on that right side of the map. EG gets control of middle and drone again. Getting into this top red and top green building towards that middle of the map allows you to push out that lane so much easier. A wide flank coming in from Nameless though. Can he pick up any of these players in the back? It's such a heads up play. Obviously made that call to his teammates. If he can pick up this player on point, a 1-pointer should be coming in soon. He does get 1. Trades going back and forth. Does FaZe hold strong? It's going to be quite close. Havoc has the drone at the back. Does he get the 1 off? Yes, he does. A huge play from Havoc.
Yeah, he may have even had a dunk, depending on the angle from the lone FaZe player, because everyone was coming off a spawn. You see, they all spawn out in courtyard. They're going to start the flood in towards mid-map, but Havoc already set up here in Lemon. That's going to be an easy gunfight win for him. So far, the only offense we have seen is from EG, and to be fair, FaZe hasn't been great in uplink this weekend. Remember, Fnatic beat them 7-0 in the first series, where they showed little to no offense. There's a 3rd point for EG. Was the 7-0 from Fnatic here on Throwback? I think it was, to kick off the first series of day 1. So this is not somewhere where FaZe Clan is necessarily going to be lights out. In fact, they look kind of abysmal right now.
Yeah, FaZe just doesn't really know what to do in terms of getting map control back. Study's just dominating with the NV4. Luckily, Zuma picks up 2 kills at middle. They should have a good wave of pressure here, and you just have to give props to EG. They're playing this map strategically better. That wide flank from Nameless was absolutely awesome. Now Study's just being so annoying in this top green area, helping his teammates out towards middle. Another wipe. They have drone control again. They have map control. It should be a 1-pointer again in the next, 20 seconds or so.
I mean, it's crazy when you take a look at this slang. Yes, EG's ahead, but not by that much. The big difference is, I bet 90% of EG's kills are coming basically on FaZe's side of the map. FaZe's kills are all on defense. Like, they can't do anything offensively. Here they're spawning out again, having to overextend. Guess who's ready? It's Nameless sitting up top. He's already picked off 1. EG is playing this perfect. FaZe can't do anything.
What are they doing?
They're just getting lined up, team.
Trying to overextend. Another 4 dead. A dunk should be coming in. There is 1 player. Zuma is there to contest, so the 1's just going to be able to drop in. 6-0 lead for EG. Playing this side almost perfect, to be honest. FaZe, they are doing a good job of clearing out their base, but another heads-up play. He knows he doesn't have map control. If he can just get behind them and pick up 1 kill, this is Nagafen we're on now. Going up to top green. They're going to try and grab the drone. He's going to take out this player. Just beautiful plays from EG all around the board.
And this is, it is a frustrating map in the sense that you do get shot in the back a lot. There are a lot of quick flanks when you're spawning out, or just a long flank. You can get in behind. It just seems like it has never been FaZe able to do that, except the very beginning Zuma attempted to. They've been playing off the back foot the rest of the time, and whether it's been Nameless getting in behind, you've seen Nagafin do it as well. Havoc has been able to complete too. So, God, I mean, what can FaZe change here on the second side? They're getting blown out.
Just going to try and slow it down at this top side. The drone is going up towards underpass. Nagafen cleans up the 3, trying to force the drone in, and wow, everything pointing towards EG in this uplink, and probably in this series if they can close this one out. Just impressive play overall from all the players. It seems like the communication is on point. I'm not sure who's being this sort of shot caller right now. Probably Nagafen or Nameless, a mixture of both. Both those players utilizing those flanks at the perfect time. It's fine if you give up middle map control. If you can just get behind and get 1, it stops progression, and the other team can't score.
I'll tell you what, from what I've seen of this FaZe team, you've been great at times, but it's almost like they need to go back. They need to play a lot of Scorch Hardpoint. They need to play a lot more throwback uplink, because those are 2 that they have not been good on. Clayster going to be trying to clear out of his base here. Just toss it for yards and get gun up. Timing ends up great as he feeds a kill to Attach. And maybe now we'll see a bit of offense. But the second it seems like they get a couple kills at mid-map, it's 3 to 4 down for them immediately. And look at this, no hesitation. EG is forward. Nameless is out front. He's got Nagafin over his back. The lead blockers are there. Havoc up over the top. He wants to go for 2. The final kill. Is it in the back? He doesn't even need it. There's the dunk. 8-0. Evil Geniuses, and the bag's out again.
Some crazy pushes and fast pushes coming in from EG. Nagafin opens up with the 3-piece. He's 18 and 12, getting so close to the payload abilities now is EG. FaZe needs to do something, and something quick. Look how many confrontations Zuma has had. 35 compared to the rest of his team. I feel like they just need to up the pace a bit, but you saw Clay and Attach make a huge mistake. They had control of middle right, and they just both get taken out instantly. Study just dominating up towards top green now, has a bunch of weapons in his back pocket. FaZe just looks all out of sorts.
It's funny, you know, I interviewed Clayster when he said the thing about EG that he thinks is really solid is their slaying ability. And when he said it, I was like, really? Like, it's not something you think of with these players, like he said, but he's like, in this title, they can do it, and you're seeing why he said it right now. Every player positive, every player with more kills of everyone outside of Zuma. But now, it is FaZe trying to make a play. There's 2 kills. So if this is EG, they are immediately in, immediately trying to find points. You got to make a play here. The spawns coming in for EG. The pressure coming in for FaZe. They're flying in right now. You need some kind of points. No one's been able to open up anything. Surely a one-pointer goes through now, and FaZe is finally on the board 7 minutes into this uplink.
Good push. Finally get some points on the board. Enable just gets absolutely destroyed at Barn. You look at the scoreboard as well for him. 9 and 19. Nothing going in Enable's favor. Zuma seems to be the only person, I guess sometimes Attach as well, but the only person on FaZe really doing his job to the best of his ability. Can't really knock him for what's happening in this one when they don't have middle map control. But it seems like the common issue from what I've seen from FaZe, just in general, since this team has formed, is they don't seem to understand when they need to play their life. A pass coming in, a dunk for Study again, working on those streaks as well. The overdrive's activated. Look how close all of EG is to the payloads as well. This game could get out of hand very quickly.
And the scary part too, you know, Clay, if you're gonna come back in this, it might be behind like an overdrive from Clay or a camo from Enable. You're not getting that camo. There's not a damn chance. He's not even halfway towards earning it. So some of your big play abilities aren't even here. And time just completely against them, but now another scoring opportunity. I mean, you can go for ones, but that won't even work. It's Study up high with the pick.
Centurion going down from Nameless at the underpass, and I said get out of hand. Well, they're already up 9 points.
Yeah.
Really, once these payloads come into play, it could be easily a 14, 16 points for EG on the board, but they're just playing a bit of keep away on this baseball side. Just going to toss the drone off, get the reset. So FaZe does have a bit of map control, but what do you know? Another flank coming in. Nagafin has a scarab. He has the camo. So much utility for EG still. FaZe is just, I don't think they have any chance.
Oh, they've got to do it now. They need points desperately. I mean, you basically need a point every 10 seconds right now if you're going to mount a comeback. But problem being, drone is actually in the hand of Evil Geniuses. And they're coming forward again. Camo's going to get popped. Guess what? That's a dunk. He's got just enough juice. 12-1. 60 seconds left. You know, maybe if you thought it was a fluke day 2 and, you know, EG could not hang, guess what? It's not.
Well, a nice little overdrive from Clay. He gets the dunk on the board. 50 seconds left. Still a 9-point deficit for FaZe, though. And I was talking a lot about I needed to see more from Study. We're getting it. Interceptions. Slaying with the NV4. So much map control for him and his team. Havoc and Nagafin getting 3 pieces left and right. And then Nameless just been Mr. Consistent for days 2. And now 3. 28 and 21. A team performance from EG. And I'm just super impressed with how they played, how much composure they showed on this map as well. FaZe look absolutely lost, and if you would have asked any of us a couple of weeks ago if this type of play would ever happen, you would expect it to be from FaZe, not from EG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Clay actually plays a pretty sneaky spot there and finds a 3-piece to make sure no more points go on the board. Unfortunately, his overdrive play, the clutch at home, all going to be too little, too late for FaZe, and Nagafin lighting it up. Game 3 goes to EG, and they are now in control of this best of 5.
You have to note as well, map 4 is a retaliation hardpoint, one of EG's better maps, and I feel like Havoc might be individually one of the best retaliation players, just from what I've seen from his map knowledge, his movement when it goes on rotation, maneuvering towards top plat and hallway and all those types of things. But man, was that uplink impressive. FaZe needs some work on throwback, and they need it quick.
And retaliation too. I mean, you know, Nagafin likes to spend all of his time in the air. When he's got that in before, he'll be very frustrated to deal with on hard points like Bridge, where he's going to be just a nuisance with that particular weapon. I mean, the best part for this for EG is, yes, you have a big map advantage now over FaZe, but the other thing is you're guaranteed a game 5. So you know that you outclassed FaZe in the search and destroy. The recipe to win, Nameless said, like, we can win our searches. We have to steal one respawn. They did that. They did their quote-unquote recipe. Yeah. So the series now in their hands. But if FaZe proved anything yesterday, they went down 2-0 to Fnatic, fought back, pushed it to a game 5. They have the potential to fight back in a series. But God, I am fully on the EG side now, buddy. Imagine if FaZe doesn't make it into top 8 to play the playoff.
That would be absolutely insane. Imagine they go to relegation. That'd be nuts. The predictions would be absolutely, you can't predict that.
And they've been, throughout the year, a top 3 team, one of the most consistent teams performance-wise outside of Optic and United. And now they may not even have a chance to play for the $500,000. Now, if you're a FaZe fan, I know, and it's not over yet. There are still a lot of matches to play today, but you do not want to start off with a loss, because that's how it started yesterday for FaZe. They didn't rebound in the second series. You see, I mean, all the guys just apparently playing on Twitter. EG looks relaxed.
They're seeing all their compliments after that last map. It was very, very solid play. So
it was. They were bordering on flawless. So going into the hard point, you know, you talked about how good Havoc can be on retaliation. What do you like about FaZe on that particular map? You know, you've got some. Is that where Clay went on his crazy streak? May have been a different map.
That was a throwback.
Yeah, you're right.
But overall, I think both teams fairly even on this map, to be honest. I am expecting it to go, I don't know, like a 250 to 180, maybe even 200-point game in terms of, I feel like both teams are just so good at holding a full 60. Their setups seem very solid. They both have that aggressive pressure when they are holding a hard point in terms of Havoc on the side of EG, and probably attaching the mixture of Zuma as well. I feel bad for Zuma on that uplink, to be honest. You expect him to be that high confrontation guy, going a bit even, maybe a little bit positive with that SMG. He was doing that. He was the only one that had any sort of presence towards mid-map. The rest of the team just wasn't quite there.
Well, you talked about Study needing to be the guy on EG, and he stepped up in a big way. You know, we sat down with Study and talked about what his greatest MLG moment has been. Let's take a look.
My greatest moment at MLG would most likely probably be Anaheim back in when I was on Black Ops 2, when I first turned pro with Ego. That was my greatest moment because I felt like I was on top of the world. It was me, Ricky, Gucci, and Ego, and we qualified, beating Envy 3-0 just to get top 8. That was my greatest moment.
You hear about Study, you know, back in the day, the early days we first got involved in competitive Call of Duty at MLG Anaheim and Black Ops 2, and this guy still competing at a high level. He has been, I agree with you, super inconsistent. Really, I mean, that kind of defines his career though, right? If he gets streaky, he starts to go off. The good thing, this is one of those series where it looks like he could explode.
Yeah, the highs have been high, the lows have been quite low for this guy, but when he's been streaming, I think, going back to Anaheim and Black Ops 3 this last year, remember that map or that series, probably the best individual series we've seen from a player in God knows how long.
And that was versus FaZe, right? I think he dropped, if I remember, like a 50 bomb in a hard point, like 40 in the uplink. It was crazy. It was one of the most ridiculous series we've ever seen from a player. Can he muster up that strength when Evil Geniuses needs it most? On the other side, FaZe Clan. It just seems like the attitudes between the two teams are so different. Where FaZe maybe looks kind of hyper focused, locked into this, EG looks very calm and relaxed. Because when you think about it, is there a lot of pressure on both teams? Of course, you know, they're trying to play for 500 grand. But if you don't think there's more pressure on FaZe, you're insane. I mean, EG's the last team in. No one, I mean, some people expected them to come top 2, but they weren't a lock for #1 like FaZe was. So the pressure continuing to mount for FaZe.
It's elimination day, and that's where the stress comes in. Every single map you lose, all of these teams, that stress just builds and builds and builds. So, especially after a map like that, EG's just feeling good. Everything you sort of strategize going into a map when you just dominate the other team, you're just kind of hanging out, having a laugh about it, to be honest. But Let's see if FaZe can bounce back here on retaliation. That first hard point was kind of a wash, to be honest. FaZe absolutely dominating, but I feel like EG just isn't very good at breakout overall. A lot better here on retaliation.
All right, well, here we go. Game 4. FaZe needs a victory to push this series, continue to keep their hopes alive for the $500,000 playoff. First kill coming in from Clay as he's looking over the back. The reload in. Should be able to clean up Study, who you saw was very tagged up on the back line. All the kills going the way of FaZe as they'll get the first bit of control.
Another solid round of gunfights for FaZe. A lot of intro time from them, and that's pretty consistent as to what we saw on Breakout. They're getting those initial rotations, the intro set of kills, and getting a lot of early hard point time on many of these hills. EG doing their best to contest on this bridge hill, usually a bit more contest heavy, not too much time going either way. Namely's with a big 2, though, to secure his team some control.
You know, we talk a lot about this map. We say it basically every time. You cannot give up streaks early, right? They'll be so important. They can decide a game, you know, at that mid to late game every time. And you'll see when Clay's picking up kills, that hardline bonus that pops up allows him to work towards streaks a little bit. It's what your first 8 kills, you get the plus 25 on it. So he's, I think pretty much the entire FaZe roster has been running that most of the weekend. Let's see if they can get streaks going early, because that would be a decider for this team.
Some split spawns coming in from EG. 2 of those players spawning towards Market, the other 2 towards this hotel side. FaZe holding strong, though, pushing out all sides of the map so darn far. Ooh. I feel like EG just is doing a very poor job in hardpoint in general of dying in the last 5 to 10 seconds of the previous hardpoint. When they do that, you get the spawns for the last hardpoint for the new hill, and that's why they are and have been spawning so far out here. Look at the scoreboard. FaZe just locking in so much time early.
Yeah, they look poised to pick up more. EG trying to soar over mid-map, but Enable still here in Bike to trade the kills. Zuma has control of plat, so you're definitely getting these final 20 seconds or so. Plus, you see the 5 and 7 on the minimap. That's going to be Clayster and Attach already set up for the next hard point. So they're going to be here at Cathedral. Clayster sees a couple going up over the top, and that's where players like Havoc and Nagafin, that is what's so annoying about them. You know, they're so good at finding kills when they're up in the air. It feels like Clayster had to watch like 40 different angles there. They end up picking it up, and now look, all of a sudden you have EG in the hard point. It's off to the races.
Some huge gunfights, one over towards that left side curve. Attach just needs to wait for some support from his teammates. Enable just challenging a bit too early. They are setting up a push, but every time a player over challenges like that, they have to wait just another 5-10 seconds. It allows the other team to get right back in it. And FaZe had a solid lead. That's basically gone. 30 seconds left here at Cathedral. Should be an easy hold for them. One more player. Nagafen's just been snapping this whole series, along with Havoc picking up the other kill. Havoc getting a little bit loud. Apparently liked winning that second gunfight there at Bridge.
Well, he started out 0-3, and he started to pick it up. You spoke highly of him coming into this game. Can he keep it going? Streaks starting to build for basically everyone on EG, but as Havoc falls, let's go over to Naga. Naga now 7-5 with a 4 streak. He's 225 off of picking up that Trinity rocket. If they can feed him some kills here and get those all-important streaks on retaliation hardpoint, it would be huge. The key fight is what? Winning it for Cathedral, then also here for the Destroy building. And what have EG done perfectly? The Money Hill rotation, they have been shutting out FaZe. This is beautiful stuff.
Beautiful pinch from Nagafin and Havoc on that broken hardpoint. Enable's positioning, though, on that rotation was quite poor. He has an NV4. He needs to be where Havoc is now, or maybe on that left side over towards that bridge. If he was positioned a bit better, they may have hold, but regardless, EG making the heads-up play, and so much time from Cathedral. Now broken. They have such a crazy lead here. They're trying to end this series very, very fast.
And again, these streaks, man. If Nagafin can pick up just a couple of kills, he tags one in the back, knows the pressure is coming forward, flies out. There's that hardline, boys. One more kill. He is 1 bullet away from the bombardment. Doesn't get fully streaked, but he has that Trinity rocket, which can come into a big play on bridge, you know, getting set up for Cathedral, getting set up for the Destroy building. Basically anywhere on the map, that Trinity rocket could come into play.
Definitely. Looking at the scoreboard a bit here, the slang just very, very even, to be honest. A couple of players just -1 or plus just a couple, but you can just see how much more important those rotation fights, and most importantly, Nagafin's starting to pull away. 10 and 6. Yeah. Every single time he picks up a kill, it looks like it's a 2-piece.
And what's crazy is that's how at least the early game looked in the uplink. It was pretty close in slang. EG's just playing better than FaZe right now.
Way better.
You got 3 down for FaZe. Let's see if EG can keep rolling. 30 seconds remaining here in Hotel Hallway. You're going to have Nameless watching the back bar. He should have a free, well, he may have had a freebie if he pre-aimed that for just a second more. FaZe trying to collapse from all sides. Nice movement there from Nameless to dip out, play his life, and now he can get back in the action. It's Nagafin following it up. Nameless tags him. He's the bait. Naga finds the 2 kills. He's working on another Trinity rocket.
I feel like he should just get out of the hill, call his, oh well. So much for that plan. But basically call his Trinity to try and get another Trinity rocket over towards Bridge. I feel like that would have been an extremely heads-up play. But regardless, FaZe looks like they are winning this initial rotation, and they need it so badly. The fact that EG was able to get so much time from Cathedral to Broken to Hotel Hallway just should not be happening.
Here they come, though.
The Trinity rocket gonna break this setup. Nagafin picks up 2. Can he get the 3rd? Yes, he does. Zuma gonna be the last one alive now at Broken. Luckily, they get a bit of a closer spawn because he is there. But so much more time going to EG's favor. FaZe has no utility to try and break besides their guns, and that's not going too well.
And that's exactly why you'll hear us talk about the streaks, man. It's wide in the open. Where are you gonna hide here? Under a teammate? Like, the streak's coming, he gets 3 with the Trinity rocket, all you could ask for, and that ends up being, what, 20 or so seconds. Thankfully, FaZe is able to break back. I mean, otherwise, this game's all but buried.
Absolutely huge break. This 30-second scrap not going into EG's side, that would have got them up to pretty close to 200 points. FaZe needs every chunk that they can get. Fortunately, looks like Attach is working on this streak. 50 from the Trinity rocket. He needs to get this. Like, this is the whole game. If you're Attach right here, he has to play safe and conservative to get this Trinity for them to have even a shot.
Because remember, the key on the other side, Nagafin didn't get the bombardment, so he only had the Trinity to work with. He doesn't have any more streaks. Now you're 50 away from getting the bombardment. It could be huge. He comes up just a little bit short as well. But now FaZe at least has a bit of a streak advantage here. They're still trailing by 60. They've got control of lower streak for the time being. Study and Nagafin find a few kills. Nobody on FaZe in the hard point at the moment. Nameless trying to go ahead and break through. I was waiting on the collapse from FaZe. Here it comes. I was like, you have 2 players surrounding this hard point. Where's the collapse?
A bit odd. Communication seems to be a bit off. Nagafin just winning every single clutch gunfight, and that's another 15 seconds of scrap going to get them up towards 200 points, unless FaZe is going to try and contest. Looks like they are trying to, but there is help. They are rotated, but EG's been quite good at breaking.
Okay, exactly. So I wanted to ask you that. So remember the first time through. FaZe set up perfectly at Cathedral. What did EG do perfectly to break in? I mean, they took control so fast.
Those high wall runs. Havoc able to get 2 intro fights again. That just cannot be happening. FaZe does not know how to play safe. They basically don't know how to camp at the right times. Havoc going to get the ace to clear out the hill, probably. FTL from Clay coming in, trying to stay alive for as long as he can. But looks like they're going to get wiped out. A streak is going to come back in from Attach to clear it out. They just need this time. He does pick up 2 players with it, so a heads-up play. Zuma going to be able to get control for this last 30 seconds, probably.
I mean, think about what just happened there, how important streak is yet again. I mean, Havoc gets 3 kills to open it up. That would have been a solid 40 seconds going to EG, which basically puts the game away. The streaks for Attach, I mean, they only got, what, 10 seconds from that, and EG busts right back in?
Study. In such a great spot, all he needs to do is stay alive. A perfect play from him. He could literally just win the game for EG if he just gets one of these kills and waits for his teammate to get a little bit of support. He tries to walk in the hill. I think he heard that player for just a second, but playing it smart. He doesn't need to give his position away. Havoc with another intro kill on the break. Picks up the first play. They had no idea he was there. Study making the game-changing play. It's so simple, right? But he just stays alive. Oh, luckily FaZe, Clayster, able to get 3 to break him out, but still, I love seeing stuff like that.
Clay goes massive. Study with the patient, sneaky play, but thankfully a Clay 2-piece, able to put it back in their advantage. So they're trailing by just under 80 points. There's 30 seconds they can pick up here if they're flawless, but it's Nagafin and Aimless cutting it. Zuma shuts down the payload. Attach here as well. It's all on Zuma now. He's going to be in a 1 versus 1. It looks like Study is waiting for his teammate to come in and collapse. There's still a good chunk of time here going to be able to earn. Enable covers them. Here's one more in the back. That's a big win. You continue to pick up time as FaZe Clan is just clawing and scraping back into this.
Beautiful stuff. Attach and Zuma just about even, and most importantly, Clay turning it around. Those 2 couple of kills to break in to get that broken time. And man, this game's pretty darn close now. If they can get a nice chunk of Hotel Hallway, Clay with a big intro and playing his life. A huge place from Clay. He get this gunfight as well. Yes, he wins it. So a nice streak from Clay. Only 2 for him, but he's turned his score around massively in the last couple of months.
And the whole team is, right? You got a couple kills in a row for Clayster and Attach, 3 in a row for Zuma. They've started to build here. If they can get some streaks out of this as well and it goes back to Bridge, that's where they can potentially win it. Kills traded nicely for FaZe. Attach finds another. They're only down 30 seconds. Can they keep holding on? You see the spawn on the left side of the map coming in for EG. They've got one more crack at this.
These streaks, again, we were on board with him before, getting this Trinity Rocket 175 points away. Oh, maybe he should have played his life, but he has to help his teammates. I don't really mind the play there. The Trinity could have made the difference maker, but EG has control.
EG
only
here.
about
EG
5 seconds. I think they have it. Attach can't get inside. That should be it. It's over.
EG gets it done again. What a day 2. What a start to the day 3. My God, like, if you thought the 3-0 yesterday was a fluke, they now beat FaZe 3-1. Is this a matchup thing? What's going right for EG, buddy?
EG's playing fantastic Call of Duty overall. The skill is shining through. Obviously, all the teams here are extremely skillful on an individual level. I think they just got it together. They were switching around payload abilities, switching around weapons, all this sort of stuff the past couple of months and in day 1. They figured it out 100%. Their S&D is consistently good, and they're starting to figure out these respawns, most importantly. The fact that they can take respawns consistently versus FaZe of all teams, it's impressive.
Well, you know, it's the movement of players like Havoc and Nagafen that impress me. You know, each time at Cathedral, they're going up high. You know, this is Jetpack Call of Duty. You're playing in the sky when you're trying to go for a break, and they're some of the best in the business at getting those kills up over the top. You saw it happen time and time again on key rotations for when FaZe Clan had a perfect setup. You know, twice we saw them a 4-man layer between Market and Cathedral. They're set up to pick up a ton of time. Instantly, basically, EG's able to bust through.
FaZe did a great job of trying to fight back in that hard point. Clayster, really all of them making huge plays, but just not quite enough. EG secures it and takes the lead in the entire group.
Well, maybe the best player in that series. He was electric with the sniper and in the respawns. We've got Courage on the stage with his best buddy, old pal, Naga.
Thank you very much, Maven and DP. Great stuff from you both. Also great stuff from Evil Geniuses. They just beat FaZe for a second time this weekend. An overall 6-1 map count. Did not expect to see that. I know even some EG fans probably didn't, but first, Jared, I want to talk about this series because the way you guys played in the first hardpoint compared to the fourth was much different. What really changed for you guys? What was this better about Retaliation?
Well, what went wrong for us in the first map was once we lost the initial rotation of the first cave hill, it kind of was all downhill from there because we always had to push into like head glitches. We had no control, nothing we could do. And then by the time we hit the fourth map, we just had momentum.
Yeah, you could definitely see how you were all shooting on the same page, and that's a big thing for this Evil Geniuses squad because early on, I used to tell you all the time, I would listen into you guys scrimming and watch your guys' streams, and you all just seem to be out of it. Someone was arguing with another person. Now, though, you seem much more composed. What's changed with the shot calling? How much better is it in the team communication for you guys?
I think we just all realized that we just have to play our best. Like, if we don't play well, we just get frustrated with ourselves. That's where that comes from. I think we just learned to put that past us because we kind of argued a little bit Friday. As you could tell, we didn't win a map.
I'm sure it would tilt anybody going 0-2 with an 0-6 map count, but that's behind you now. You're now 3-2 in this group. One more series to play up against Fnatic. Expectations for that series. What are you going to do up until that point as a squad?
What we're going to do, I guess let's go backstage, warm up again, shoot my gun, and just be ready.
There it is from Nagafen. The guy just went off in that series versus FaZe Clan. EG in a great spot, but they've got one more series to play later on today. For now, though, our analysts to break down match number 1.